Pakistan is on the brink of bankruptcy and a total collapse. The country's economy has been in a downward spiral for years, and it doesn't seem to be getting any better. Pakistan may be one of the most economically unstable countries in the world right now. The key problems are fulfilling international debt payments and obtaining vital items such as medication, food, and electricity. As a consequence, hundreds of shipping containers are presently stalled in Karachi's port because banks are unable to guarantee foreign currency payments. The package contains perishable food products and medical equipment worth tens of millions of dollars. Why is Pakistan so unstable? Well, there are many reasons, but they all come down to two things: corruption and terrorism. Both go hand in hand in Pakistan. During the Soviet occupation of Afghanistan, the Pakistani army got funds from the West to organize a militant revolt against the Russian army. The Pakistani army used these funds to organize all the militant groups in Afghanistan and Pakistan under one umbrella called the Taliban. Yes, the same Taliban that is ruling Afghanistan now. The Pakistani army spent millions of dollars training these groups to fight against the Russian occupation. At the same time, they used some parts of these organizations for terror attacks in India and other places. That soured the relationship between the neighboring countries. After the US Army left Afghanistan, these terrorist outfits have plagued Pakistan from inside and outside alike. Frequent skirmishes across the Afghan borders with the Taliban and multiple bomb attacks in different parts of Pakistan have increased drastically. On the other hand, corruption has plagued Pakistan since its inception as an independent nation. It has caused problems at every level of society and governance in Pakistan. Government and army officials openly steal money from public funds without any fear. An average Pakistani has to pay some or the other type of bribe even to get basic facilities like education and health. Both these factors, combined with the pandemic and recent floods, have led to the ultimate collapse-like situation in Pakistan. People are starving, countries have stopped their exports to Pakistan, and the situation is soon getting out of control. If Pakistan defaults, it can be in a far worse condition as compared to Sri Lanka. Let us understand the present situation step by step and why experts believe that Pakistan will soon default. Economic factors. Pakistan's economic condition at the moment is in a bad situation. Some experts say that Pakistan has already defaulted. Pakistan's Defense Minister Khawaja Asif in a statement in February stated that the country has already defaulted. He blamed the Pakistan Army, also known as the establishment, for the bankruptcy. Two important indicators of the economy, the fiscal and the trade deficit, are in bad condition. Due to declining revenue and increasing expenditure, Pakistan's economy has almost collapsed. The government has been unable to collect enough taxes from its citizens, which has led to a widening budget deficit. In addition, Pakistan's external debt has risen sharply over the past decade as it borrowed heavily from international lenders like China to fund infrastructure projects such as roads and dams. China accounts for 30% of the total external debts, and this carries a very high rate of interest. Another sector where the nation is failing is expenditure. Especially, since the Pakistani rupee lost its value in recent days, importing things has become costlier. Pakistan also spends a major part of its revenue on its military, which in turn is highly corrupt and controls the turbulent political and social scenario of the nation. Pakistan spends almost 18% of its total spending on its military. Some experts believe that it is as high as 25%, which includes direct and indirect spending on keeping up the military. Subsidies on food, electricity, and petroleum products have been kept high over the years to keep the cost of commodities low for the poor public. It is estimated that Pakistan now has 38% of the population living in extreme poverty. And the trends show that it will further increase to around 50% by 2023. This has been one of the reasons why the talks between the Pakistani government and the IMF have stalled frequently in recent days. Rising inflation. The inflation rate in Pakistan is rising at a rapid pace. It has reached its highest level since 2008. The weakening of the Pakistani rupee against other currencies like the USD and euro has caused this increase in prices. As per recent reports, Pakistani rupee is trading for 320 Pakistani rupees against $1 in the gray market. Officially, it is somewhere around 280 Pakistani rupees per dollar. In addition to this, there have been several other factors that have increased the cost of food, electricity, petrol, medicines, and gas. Due to a scarcity of wheat flour in the nation in recent days, prices have risen by 1,000 Pakistani rupees, with current costs hovering around 3,000 Pakistani rupees per bag. This has resulted in public protests in Pakistan by low-income communities. Social media videos show individuals demonstrating on the streets for food as the country's basic item costs have risen. Individuals have petitioned the government to step in and curb inflation. Taxes on automobile imports have recently been increased by the government to control the outside flow of dollars. But this in turn has increased automobile prices within the nation because Pakistan does not manufacture automobile parts. Most of it is assembled after importing. This has led to the shutdown of a few important automobile companies, resulting in the loss of thousands of jobs in the sector. Debt burden. Pakistan's public debt is high, and it's increasing. The country's debt-to-GDP ratio has been rising steadily since 2000 when it was at 32%. It was 65% in 2017, and projections suggest that if current trends continue, this figure is expected to reach 95% in 2023. The main reason for this is Pakistan's reliance on external borrowing to finance its budget deficit. The country has had negative net domestic savings since 2005. And any savings that people had has lost value due to inflation and declining currency. Trade deficit. Pakistan is a net importer of goods. For the last 2 decades, Pakistan has been importing more than it is exporting. This has led to a huge trade deficit over the period. The trade deficit is a measurement of how much money is being spent on imports than earned through exports. A country with a high level of trade deficit will have to borrow money from other countries to pay for its imports, which can lead to debt problems in the future. Pakistan had a trade deficit of $2.6 billion in January 2023. Declining foreign reserves. One of the most troubling indicators is the declining foreign exchange reserves in Pakistan. This is the amount of money that Pakistan has in its possession to pay off debts and buy imports. And it is at an all-time low. According to the IMF, Pakistan's foreign exchange reserves have fallen from $18 billion in May 2013 to $3 billion in December 2023, a huge decrease that has led to financial and political turmoil in the country. Pakistan has to pay a total debt of approximately $7 billion by the end of June 2023. This includes $2 billion to China by the end of March 2023. And Pakistan doesn't have that much money to pay back these debts. This means that if something were to happen that required payment from abroad, like an emergency loan, it would be difficult for Pakistan to pay back its creditors without taking out more loans or asking others for help. As of now, no nation or organization is ready to lend money to Pakistan. Unlike Sri Lanka and Bangladesh, which got support from the IMF and India, Pakistan can only rely on China for timely support. When you rely on one country that charges a high amount of interest, then it can be catastrophic for an economy like Pakistan. Unemployment. The unemployment rate in Pakistan is rising at an alarming rate. According to recent reports, it currently stands at 8%. This is one of the difficult situations that Pakistan will have to handle in the coming days. The lack of job opportunities has led to an increase in poverty as well as crime rates. People who cannot find work often turn to illegal activities such as drug trafficking and prostitution just so they can feed their families without having any sort of financial support from their government or employers. Ban on trade with India. One way that Pakistan can control its food inflation is by opening its borders for trade with India. But, due to political reasons, and history with its neighbor, this seems to be impossible. Food inflation in Pakistan is at an all-time high. It was estimated to be around 43% in February 2023. Many experts believe that if Pakistan reopens trade with India, the commodity price may go down by 15 to 20% in a month. Lack of life-saving medicines. 40 pharmaceutical companies in Pakistan have either shut down or scaled down their production because the raw material is not available or there is no money to import it. Life-saving drugs have disappeared from the market, and this has further accelerated the problem for citizens. Indian and Chinese pharmaceutical companies have been providing these drugs at a cheaper rate in the past, but due to issues with payments and the scarcity of the US dollar, the import has stopped. What's next for Pakistan? It is difficult to find a short-term solution to Pakistan's problems. The nation had been to IMFs multiple times in the past, but each time the situation has worsened further. The debt has increased and people have become poorer. IMF has suggested many reforms. But, political parties including the ruling parties consider these reforms to be politically suicidal. China has granted some loans, but that has only added to the overall debt crisis due to high interest rates. What if Pakistan defaults? Many experts believe that if Pakistan defaults, the situation can be far worse than Sri Lanka, which defaulted by the end of last year. It is believed that uncontrolled inflation and the government's inability to control the militancy that it harbored once can lead to civil unrest in Pakistan. This can have bad implications for the Indian subcontinent's security and stability. Pakistan being a nuclear nation can have far-reaching implications for the region and the world. Its bankruptcy will also have a bad impact on the global economy. Pakistan ranks 48 in the global GDP ranking and 5th by population. The Russia-Ukraine war has only pushed the situation in Pakistan from bad to worse. Economists predict a humanitarian and healthcare disaster in Pakistan if the State Bank of Pakistan, the Ministry of Finance, and other agencies do not take quick action.
Thank you for watching. Please let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Do not forget to subscribe and share.